The 2020 economic collapse has demonstrated its ability to wipe out supply chains, drive grocery store prices sky high, and cause massive shortages of everything from toilet paper to meat to aluminum cans. As we head into the deep winter, the disaster is only going to intensify. So it's crucial that you take the last days of the season to prepare for the worst. This list details 28 of the most important items to add to your stockpile as the economic collapse wreaks havoc on the United States. Keep watching until the end to make sure you don't miss a single item. The last thing you want is to notice that key supplies perhaps and when it's already too late to roll, although they're cheap now. As soon as things go south, the value of these supplies will skyrocket overnight. The good news is that for now, most of the supplies that will make the difference between catastrophe and survival when the time comes, won't break the bank. In fact, these cheap goods are things we may take for granted day-to-day life. But in a few months, they could be keeping you and your loved ones alive, or reused about other necessary items. Without further ado, let's get into the list. Pay close attention. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, so you stay up to date on the situation at hand and the ways in which to stay a step ahead of the destruction sweeping the globe. 1. Aluminum foil. This kitchen staple is used for much more than wrapping up leftovers. In a pinch, aluminum foil can be the savior of your personal garden, which you should establish as soon as you can, so as to not to be dependent on external food supplies for your survival. Use the foil to reflect extra sunlight onto your plants, therefore helping them grow faster, or tear it into strips to hang throughout your garden. This will ward off pests like birds and other small animals that may eat your valuable crops. Aluminum foil can also be utilized for many other essential tasks beyond gardening. Cooking, cleaning, via making, and rainwater collection are just a few of its most important uses. To duct tape. Even under normal circumstances, duct tape is known as an excellent multi-purpose tool in a disaster. Even more so. Shelter. One of the most important things to figure out fast: strong tape will allow you to match plastic or tops in order to stay dry and out of the elements. Moreover, it will extend the life of your many heavily used supplies that will inevitably break. Snaps, tent poles, cracked water bottles, and torn mosquito nets are just a few essential items that can continue to function with the help of some duct tape. 3. Plastic sheeting. Like duct tape, plastic sheeting is an incredibly versatile thing to have in your toolkit. It covers many of the essential needs: water, shelter, and even clothing if need be, at times when drinking water is scarce. A plastic sheet can be used to catch and store rainwater. If you're making a campsite, this item can be used to keep you off the dirt if conditions are otherwise good, or to shield you from wind and rain. Besides keeping people dry, plastic sheeting can also make sure that moisture doesn't ruin vital supplies like firewood for bandages. Minor injuries happen all the time while executing the physical labor necessary for survival in an emergency situation. However, even a small cut runs the risk of infection if not properly treated. You'll want plenty of bandages on hand to deal with any scrapes before they get to the point where you have to risk going to a hospital. 5. Baking soda. While baking will not be the first item on your agenda during a disaster, this basic ingredient can actually be used in many. Baking soda is perfect but cleaning fresh bodies, as well as sanitizing any number of things from dishes to floors to shoes. Furthermore, baking soda works as a deodorant, toothpaste, soap, insect bite treatment, and antacid all in one rather than purchase all of these supplies individually, which will be more difficult and more expensive. Of course, you can just make sure you're equipped with plenty of baking soda. 6. Sunscreen. At times when drinking water is past, the dehydration caused by more serious suffers is not something you can afford. Furthermore, as you're spending lots of time outdoors, sunscreen will keep you protected in open terrain or hours of walking while bugging out on foot. 7. Activated charcoal. Don't be fooled by these items' low price tag. Although you could easily make up several rounds of activated charcoal for around $20, it becomes priceless, and it can offer relief for gas and bloating, treat the case of poisoning, and even purify water. Having activated charcoal around could very easily save your life. Batteries, flashlights, radios, and lanterns. They're just a few devices that rely on battery power in order to keep running, since you don't want to be left in the dark literally or figuratively. You only need a large enough stockpile to last through power outages that may stretch for days at a time. Batteries run for less than 50 cents a pop, so there's no excuse not to have plenty. 9. Vitamins. The last thing you want in a disaster scenario is a weak immune system. Vitamins are crucial in order to boost your strength and supplement our usually nutrient-weak survival diet. Make sure to stock up on vitamin C in particular, which helps wounds heal more quickly and supports bone health. Tanso was one of the first items to disappear from shelves in the earliest days of the pandemic. While it's still available, you'll want to grab extra. Not only will it keep you healthier, but it can be used to disinfect a number of surfaces as well. 11. Rubbing alcohol. List is another cleaning supply that you just can't have too much of. A hand sanitizer is stripped from stores. Rubbing alcohol will be the next thing that go. That's because it can be used in homemade sanitizers as well as to disinfect any cuts or scrapes. 12. Chapstick. A tube of chapstick costs next to nothing. You'll be surprised at how many uses it has beyond my lips. Rubbed onto exposed skin in cold weather to reduce the chances of frostbite. You can even use a sunscreen in a pinch, although it's not as effective as the real thing. Even the empty tubes serve a purpose. They can store other small items like matches, bills or fishing line. 13. Rubber bands. There are lots of elements involved in a comprehensive survival kit. And rubber bands are a low-cost way of keeping everything organized. They can bind cords together, distinguish charged batteries from uncharged ones. Strap things to the outside of your back. Long or high, 4 grams to zip ties. Zip ties have a wide range of uses. Bi-colored versions do use this trail markers if you plan on heading into the wilderness, but make sure to keep black or white ties installed too, because those tend to be stronger. Like rubber bands, they can be used to organize things within your stockpile, but because they're more durability if an injury occurs. Zip ties can also serve as a tunica hole. Advantages in place for oily that can open canned goods are essential for any survival kit. And the majority of long-lasting food comes in these containers. That's why it never hurts to have backup can openers in case the original dance lost or broken. You wouldn't want to get stuck with sufficient food but no easy way to access it. 16. Cotton balls. These are incredibly cheap and extremely light, so there's no reason you can't get cotton balls. Make great applicators with disinfectant things of injury and also function as EMFs in cold weather. 17. Salt. When your diet shrinks to what's available, good you have available, but not only sets in quickly, is essential for adding flavor to meals, but it also contains minerals that gives your body electrolytes and balance fluids in the blood. Aside from boosting your nutrition, salt can be used for cleaning the icing during cold weather and as a fast repellent. 18. Fishing line. Of course, there is the obvious use of this one, catching fish, but fishing line is also excellent for setting up snare traps to catch a large game. Furthermore, it can be used to hang important belongings out of reach of animals at a campsite. 19. Over-the-counter medications. Aspirin, ibuprofen and acetaminophen are overuseful to have on hand to treat a number of minor ailments you may face, as well as with basic pain relief. Will also make valuable bargaining pieces. 20. Candles. If there are rolling blackouts, your battery supplies are dwindling. You'll be glad you invested in candles as an alternate source of light. They allow you to conserve your flashlights and lanterns, but when you need stronger illumination as a basic necessity, they're also good to trade when stores run out. 21. Nail polish. This one might sound strange, but it's not about looking nice while bugging out. Nail polish actually has a number of diverse functions. Paint it over the tip of a match to keep it from being ruined by moisture, or use it to patch a tear in the top. Or 10. Since it's highly flammable, nail polish can also be used to start fires. 22. Sewing supplies. If you don't know how to execute some basic sewing, now is the time to learn. The small sewing kit is easy to travel with and can be a lifesaver when the essentials like losing tens or backpacks or ripped. 23. Paper clips. These supplies aren't only useful in the office. Sure, they can hold important documents together when you're on the go, but they also make excellent fishing hooks, hold torn fabric together, and can even function as a canvas. Just magnetize the paperclip by rubbing it with a knife or another metal object for about 60 seconds. Just place it on a leaf in a cup of water to get your bearings. 24. Lighters. This one's obvious, there's many ways to stratify, but this is perhaps the most convenient. Plus, with an excess supply of lighters, you can use them as bartering chips if need be. They will certainly be in high demand. 25. Seeds. Securing your own food source is one of the most vital steps to take in a disaster, and the garden will give you access to fresh fruits and vegetables long after they've disappeared from stores. Make sure to stock up on a variety of seeds that can be planted here around so you always have something growing. 26. Socks. These are easy to take for granted in everyday life, but socks are essential to keep your feet dry and protected, especially if you're walking long distances without backup, as you run the risk of freezing, hypothermia, and other ailments. 27. Ziploc bags. Waterproof and anti-storage bags of vital or transporting anything that could be damaged by travel or the elements. Make sure you have plenty so you have space for matches, food, and other supplies that need extra protection. 28. Superglue. When duct tape or nail polish won't do the job, superglue can take care of it. This must-have items will repair any number of crucial supplies, but its usefulness doesn't stop there. In an emergency, superglue concludes wounds. It's also tough enough to repair worn-down shoes or prevent ropes from fraying. So, as the world crumbles into chaos around us, take this window of time to prepare while you still can. A few trips to the dollar store will get you well on your way to building a stockpile of supplies that will keep you and your family safe and ahead of the curve when this economic collapse inevitably goes from bad to worse.